Okay, so Howard Armitage, first of all, thank you very much for talking to me and the students of our program today. Can you begin just by introducing yourself, telling them what you do at the university?
Sure. Thanks very much, Peter, for the invitation. I am the founding director of what is known as the Conrad Center for Business Entrepreneurship and Technology. It is a program run under the Faculty of Engineering here at the University of Waterloo. We offer a very flagship program at the graduate level called the Master of Business Entrepreneurship and Technology. And we also offer an array of courses, options, and minors for our undergraduate students, as well as opportunities for students to take a co-op term in which they are able to build their own business. The second role I have at the university is as the special advisor to the president on all matters relating to entrepreneurship at the University of Waterloo, and that includes trying to raise Waterloo's profile to be seen as the absolute best in providing academic education, support opportunities, and research capabilities for our faculty and staff. That's it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Howard. And the entrepreneurship and technology entrepreneurship in particular is certainly viewed as being important today. Why do you think it's so important that this is an area that the university and the country as a whole focus on?
Yes, you've absolutely hit on an important topic. We've seen a sea change in the view of entrepreneurship in the last 10 years. If I went back in time, I think I could say that there was only one or two institutions that were clearly thinking about and leading in the area of entrepreneurship. And now, over the last 10 years, I'm hard-pressed to think of a university or a community college that isn't making some claim of leadership in this field. So it gives you an idea of how important people feel this discipline has become. I do agree with that. As we know, approximately 98 or 99% of all the companies here in Canada and elsewhere, for that matter, are what we call small companies. They are entrepreneurially based, and the failure rate in many of those companies is extraordinarily high. Over the last few years, I think many of us, and I'll include University of Waterloo as a leader in this field, have developed programs which allow individuals to understand that there is a discipline behind entrepreneurship that allows them to take their ideas, move those ideas forward, and reduce the probability of failure in time. This is really critical because our gross domestic product, in other words, our national income, depends highly on new businesses being created. We have a responsibility to train individuals in a proper way to give them education and support to move those businesses along. It is the future of employment for the country. It's the future of how we are viewed competitively by other nations, and it is the future of many people's individual success. So I'm pretty big on entrepreneurship.
Wonderful. And for someone who is considering becoming a technology entrepreneur, who may be at an early stage in the development of their business, what advice, based on the wonderful experience that you've had, what do you think is the most important advice that you would give them?
I think that over a period of time, we've learned quite a bit about the advice that you're asking to give to young entrepreneurs. Previously, I think there might have been a feeling that an individual with a buddy might go into the garage and bang out something in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden it was going to scale and be a great project. That still exists, but we know that that is very much a minimal type of operation. Now I think we can point to the fact, if we're giving advice to young entrepreneurs, is to recognize there is a continuum of skills and networks that we need to follow in order to, let's say, reduce probability of failure and conversely to increase probability of success. That starts with an educational component in which one does understand the fundamentals of what is entrepreneurship, what's it all about, what are some of the positive and negative elements to moving forward in your career. Secondly, pass that education to be heavily involved in some kind of experiential component where your ideas get tested. We all know about lean canvas opportunities, but in addition to that, there are chances to see if there is something beyond an idea, that there's a product market fit, that you understand the importance of testing these ideas out with customers and looking for something, particularly in the technological world, that is a scalable opportunity that increases your opportunities to get funding down the line. On top of that, Peter, I think one of the most important things that I've learned is that entrepreneurs who claim to be entrepreneurs can be mentored. Very difficult sometimes to be able to learn the failures and problems of others if you are not willing to listen to the message of those that have gone before. So understanding what you know and knowing what you don't know is pretty important, and you only pick that up by working a network that is often provided to you by folks at a university or another institution. But the key here, I think, is that it's the network that helps you to find your way in the morass of possibilities that you're dealing with. And the more that you work that network, the more likely you are to find success in your field. If I could just depart slightly from the word technological entrepreneurship, if I may, as we know, there is a whole world of broad entrepreneurship. One can be the technological entrepreneur. One can also be the corporate entrepreneur, or what we might call an entrepreneurial employee, where employees are looking for exactly the same kind of skills that take an idea to a prototype to a commercializable side. That's a critical area of development, which I think many areas are now addressing and doing well. And of course, the final one, and certainly not the least important one, is social entrepreneurship. With the growth of social enterprise, for some time we have characterized those as being quite different from technological entrepreneurship. I think we now realize that the commonalities are much greater than the differences, and learning some of these same kinds of skills will really bode well for an entrepreneur in the future.
Great, thank you. And the people who are watching this are now coming to the end of their certificate in technical entrepreneurship, and they're going to be moving on with the development of their companies. Would you like to say any final words to them to perhaps give them encouragement as they move forward?
Well, I'm delighted to do so, of course. We're very proud here at the University of Waterloo for our entrepreneurial and innovation reputation. I suspect, Peter, that you may have mentioned during your course that we're now recognized as one of the two great entrepreneurial ecosystems in North America. We don't even need to mention who is number one. We all know that. But we're in a pretty good place, in a pretty good country, in a pretty good region for learning entrepreneurship. I think the future is extremely bright. In fact, the future depends on folks that are graduating from the class that you're providing right now. And I can't help but think that down the road we're going to see a lot of those individuals in the newspapers, in social media, as having accomplished a great deal. Congratulations to all of you for completing the course, and my very best wishes on behalf of the university and for your wonderful professor, Peter Carr, for going through this particular program.